Nigeria. The military has to be drafted into it to solve the business. So he has trained. If you study military psychology, there's a battle fatigue in our military now. They're fighting insurgency in the Northeast, a lot of insecurity. So even the governors of the central Benue, Nasarawa have agreed that they need to come together, not form that synergy. Replica what happened at the Amotekun in the southwest. So if they can replicate that sincerity, I believe if the political leadership, the political will of our leaders able to act, ability to turn intention into action is very critical in this narrative. Now, if they can able to put word into action, I believe we're able to sustain it. So the vice president is right in his narrative saying that our law enforcement are not very, very reactive. They're not very reactive to events, and it's really affected. So the criminals are taking the vulnerability of our law enforcement, not being reactive, not being proactive in actively to take decisions in order to act. I understand the former president. The former president spent almost about 11.18 trillion last 8 years of his government, but we're just spending money, but we're not seeing the effect of it in our law enforcement. You can see is strain our law enforcement, and the criminals are taking the vulnerability of our law enforcement and trying to strike, and that's what we call insecurity. That's what insecurity is escalating in high level, and it's so sad that Nigeria has this narrative or metaphor that life is very brutal and nasty now. So the life of Nigerians are short, brutal and nasty. So you can see the life of Nigerians don't mean anything to anybody again. So the criminals are taking the vulnerability of our law enforcement not to act effectively to cause this havoc. It's very sad, and is heartbreaking.
Okay, I mean, at this point, we need to go on a quick...
To adopt community policing, which is very critical in our law enforcement agency, because our internal security is in crisis. So we have to bring policing, state police now. But we're in democracy, and people say that Nigeria is nowhere matured enough. We're about 24 years of our democracy now. We are just talking that we're not. So it will help the law enforcement agency to community policing really help. Because we talk about building interagency collaboration. It really help. I think communication should be very, very critical too in fighting this.
All right, Dr. Aigbe, I'm sorry, I need to cut in here. We need to go on a quick break, and of course, when we return, I'll be taking Ambassador AJ's reaction to the assertion of the Vice President, the former Vice President. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining, this is Secure the Continent, and we have been looking at the insecurity in Nigeria, particularly in Plateau State. And of course, we still have on the show Dr. Diyeli Ayegbe, criminologist and security consultant, and also Ambassador Melvin Eje, Executive Director, Global Peace and Life Rescue Initiative, and also security expert. Both are joining from Plateau State, Nigeria. Gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging on.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'd like to go to you, Ambassador AJ. Now, your reaction to what the former Vice President actually did say concerning the security apparatus, saying that security agents are rather more reactive than being proactive. Do you think so in the case of Plateau State?
While I hold the Vice President in very high esteem as the former Vice President and the political leader of this country, I do not totally agree with him. Yes, we have lapses in the security because of some technical know-how, because of some lack of political will. I agree. But I do not think building intelligence is very expensive. And one of the problems we have on the plateau is the lack of community cooperation with the security, particularly the Nigerian military. Like I've always maintained in several forums, the military are not magicians. They are not spiritualists, and they want to do otherwise. If you don't share intelligence with them, they are not going to manufacture this intelligence. They are not fortune tellers. So if you have an attack coming from one front and information are not available, what are they going to do? There are no drones in our forest. There are no cameras in our forest. I'm not trying to build up excuse for them, but I think the military also need to open its door more to the civilian populace to interact with them so that they know some of these challenges. If you're talking about being reactive, I agree with the Vice President in some quota, but there are several factors that is mitigating against them being very proactive. But in fairness to the ones in Plateau State that I have seen, that I've worked closely with, they have been very reactive. Unfortunately, they don't tell their stories. They make several arrests on the ground. They neutralize several of the bandits on the ground. I enjoy the military. This is a democratic army. They should speak out more. If they take an action, they should speak out. But because of their operational modus, they don't speak out. They don't do plenty of press conference. They are doing so much, yet the people don't know much. Now, the vice president's statement is not fair to them. It's completely not fair, not fair to them. In this particular crisis, they didn't get, I don't think they had any prior intelligence. It was not planned to happen. It was just a spontaneous attack that happened. A header was trying to cross the road. A Makabo guy was trying to cross the road, collided with the header, and that's where it started from. Before you know it, criminals put law into their hands, started burning property, started looting property. How could you have such intelligence? What could you have done even if you have